Yes, hi there. This is Michael. I am the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at Stealth, the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. And thank you for completing the independent writing practice test number 10. So let's take a look at what we have here. I'm going to say you can probably improve your organization a little bit. So in your intro, you say it's a big topic and a crisis in all the most booming cities to the except. And it just isn't quite clear what you're trying to say there, but I think you're trying to say that in many cities, universities are finding difficulties on whether or not they should accept all students into their programs, you might say. That's how you might begin that. Then you get into some people believe that a college university education should be available to higher education, but the others believe that it should be available to only students and not only to good students. I think you're kind of getting this mixed up. I think what you want to say is, the first idea is some believe a college education should be available to all, but others believe it should not be available to all students, or that it should only be available to good students. So I think putting not only to good students at the end of that sentence, it doesn't work very well. So I just gave you an example of how you can correct that. Okay, now let's go to your next paragraph. You get into, for the first team, our supported acceptance of excelling. And in this case, grammatically, we don't even have a subject here. You have for the first team are. You can't use for the first team as a subject because it's a prepositional phrase. But you could say, you might say, first of all, some believe that all students are entitled to get an education, right? You might say. They have several reasons, including that superior as they worked hard in the past, they will work at the same level for the future. Yeah, see, it's a little bit confusing here because it almost sounds like you're talking about the second idea. You say they will work at the same level for the future. They will bring high achiever. How about this? They will achieve higher results or something. So I'm going to say with paragraph 2, it's just a little bit difficult. I'm having trouble catching your meaning. There's some vocabulary words in there. I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to say, and some of the grammar problems in there are making it difficult for me to get your idea. Now let's go to your next paragraph. You say second team says that a lot of family want their sons and daughters, you want to say, to go to college or university because they have ability to get approval even if they do not have a high rate. Again, how does that relate back to the actual thesis? You're talking about two positions, right? So if you want to get to the next position, you might say the second group of people believe that only qualified, high grade students should be allowed to go to college, right? You make that argument there. So you get in the next paragraph, there may be a reason for not getting a high degree, such as the death of a parent. I don't think you want to say high degree. You want to say for not getting high grades, or excellent grades, or superior grades. I know what you're trying to say here. You're trying to say these people believe that there could be another reason that caused them not to get high grades, such as the death of a parent or some other particular problem, which led to, you might say, decreased academic performance. Instead of saying lower average, use the word decreased academic performance. That's going to make it a little bit more college level. And you say this happens a lot. You says, this does not mean they're not smart or cannot be successful. I wouldn't just say this. I would say the lower marks or grades they get in their classes does not necessarily mean that they're not smart or they will not be able to be successful. So these people argue they should allow these kinds of people into college. You might want to end with that idea in that paragraph there. Okay, now let's get to your argument. You say from my point, you want to say from my point of view. I would put from my point of view, comma, and get rid of that. Say universities must accept all students for university study because they have a valid to get it. See there, I don't know what you mean there, I'll be honest with you. So maybe you're trying to say because they have, or they deserve, maybe you're trying to say they deserve to get into those schools. And because the vacancies, you say are requires, I wouldn't say that, because the vacancies require high certificates, but still I'm not exactly sure what your meaning is. You say if they do not accept some of the students will be the reason. That's called a mixed construction. But what if you did this, get rid of if, and say not accepting some of these students will be the reason for the denial of jobs or the presence of jobs, maybe comma, which is not satisfactory in terms of income because their testimony is not high as what the job wants. Maybe reputation you're trying to say there. Then you get to the next paragraph. In short, this problem does not have done yet. You can't say does not done. You want to say is not done yet. You say I hope they find a solution for this problem and make all students equally. But it's not really a problem, it's more of a controversy. So I don't think you're ending the essay, I think, in a way that frames it around the actual assignment. If you get to the conclusion, say in conclusion, there are different points of view on this topic, and my point of view is, and then you just kind of restate that. So I think your conclusion kind of went in a different direction, a little bit. Okay, so let's take a look at your score now. So your essay has some pretty fundamental problems, I'll be honest with you. So the main thing is, here's the question, is when we are writing and trying to put down our thoughts, we're trying to structure, organize our ideas, we're finding the grammar and the vocabulary to communicate. And the question is, are you able to communicate your ideas successfully? And I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to put you about 4 out of 10 right now, because there's so many ideas, there's thoughts. You got them in your mind, right? You know what you want to say, but you don't have the vocabulary or the grammar to express those ideas. So that's really kind of what's going on. So I would recommend right now, and I'm going to put you right now in terms of your score, yeah, I'm going to put you about, I'm going to say 2.0 out of 5, or 14 points out of 30. And for the purposes of our class, 2.0, that's going to put you at about 64%. And here are my recommendations. The problems that you have here are going to be long-term. You're going to have to take some time to work on this thing, but you can do it. So make sure you're reading and listening to authentic materials on a regular basis. I'd recommend maybe 1 hour of reading practice a day. Maybe read magazines, newspapers, longer books. You'd be surprised how effective just that one thing can be. So if you're doing that, keep doing it. Number 2, keep practicing listening. Listen to authentic materials. Things like news programs, documentary programs, maybe history programs, maybe science programs, and English, right? You need a lot of English right now. So if you do those 2 things, just doing those things each day, that's going to help you get a little bit more accustomed to how we communicate, the kinds of words we use. And you wouldn't be using encouragement, I think, as a verb. You would know that encourage is a verb, encouragement is a noun. So you have a lot of basic type ideas. You're just not exactly sure how to express your ideas. Now, also, keep working in the vocabulary part of my course. there's no point in you practicing writing that much. It's hard for you to improve your writing because you don't really have the vocabulary or the grammar. So focus a lot in the vocabulary part of my course, and that's going to help you build your academic vocabulary, and you will be able to communicate more effectively. And in addition to that, spend time in the grammar part of my course, specifically going through grammar lessons 1, 2, all the way to 7. And in lesson 7, this is going to take some time, but keep going through that lesson. Focus on the writing and the grammar exercises. All right, anyway, thank you very much for your hard work. You've been a great student this quarter, and keep it up. Remember that you can continue to improve your writing even after the quarter's over. You got 4 weeks, and you can work on your vocabulary and your grammar areas during this part of your vacation. All right?